Hey friends, today is 3rd of February 2021 and I thought it's a good time to begin with our yesterday's discussion. Today we shall discuss on routers. A router is simply a device that is capable of passing data between two networks. On board a ship, it is mostly used to connect our local area network to the internet. However, this small device is capable of performing many other functions as well. It can filter data based on content, allowing some types of data to pass while blocking the others. It may even well block you out from sites you may wish to visit. So, if there are certain sites that you are not able to visit, probably it is a router up the line. Some routers can monitor the network to determine the most efficient path of sending a message so that if a part of the network is busy, a router can automatically route the message through a less busy route. However, in our practical service spread on board, what matters to us is just the settings. On the current network adapter Ethernet setting IPv4, which is the one which we currently use, and at some point of time we will be moving to IPv6. So the first setting here is the host name. A host name is either a user defined static address or a dynamically assigned. A dynamically assigned IP address comes from either a DHCP server or from a auto IP protocol. Now, if we directly connect to internet, usually it is a dynamically assigned address from our internet provider. But if we connect to a local area network through a server, it may be either user defined or IT assigned or even DHCP. Next is the net mask, which basically is used to identify the local subnet for the network. To put it in perspective, mostly in a small network, it usually is 255.255.255.0, which basically means that you allow the computer to connect to 254 other devices only. As we are aware that the IP addresses are divided into classes A, B, C, D, E, and the subnet masking is as per the class of the IP address. The thing to be considerate about here is that all the devices that you wish to connect must fall in your local subnet. Next is the default gateway, which basically is the router address to connect the machine that are on a different subnet from our computer. The point here to consider is that the gateway must be on the same subnet of the IP address selected. The last setting here is of the DNS server, which basically is the domain name server, and it is only used if we are a part of a domain. We will come to it when we discuss the IT on board. Before we conclude, let's have a word on fiber optic, that is find an increasing use on our survey spreads, especially if we are working on a work class ROV or a unmanned survey vessels USV or a AUV, the autonomous underwater vehicles. Originally, the original 1981 IBM PC ran on a clock speed of 4.77 MHz. Nowadays, the PC run on a 4-core CPU at 3 GHz. This increase is a gain of a factor around 2500, which basically boils down to 16 per decade. Quite impressive. In the same period, the wide area communication link went from 45 Mbps, the old T3 line which we found in our old telephone systems, to the current 100 Gbps on a modern long distance line. This increase is a gain of a factor of around 16 per decade, while the same time the error rate in transmission have come down to almost zero. But now it seems that in between the race of the computer processing speed and its transmission speed, the processing speed is coming towards a saturation while there are no limits yet to the transmission speed due to fiber optics. And even this current practical limit of around 100 Gbps in fiber optic transmission is not due to fiber optics, but our inability to convert between the electrical and optical signals any faster. Otherwise, the achievable bandwidth in fiber optics technology is in excess of 50,000 Gbps or 50 Tbps. So that is the amount of data transmission we are talking of. We'll discuss more on this interesting topic of fiber optics and onboard IT in our forthcoming discussion. Hope it was interesting and maybe a little insightful. Take care. We'll see you around.